Alright, let me just test the volume. Okay, now before I start with the weekly forecast, I just want to take a look at the COT data. Okay, so because we are currently in a very, I think, quite a difficult market condition, so I'm just trying to glean onto any information that I can utilize on the higher time frames to gauge if there is any large expansion trends are going to happen. Because overall, if you take a look at the dollar, it's in a consolidation, so consolidation always leads to expansion, and I want to try to pinpoint which direction it's going to attack first. Okay, so ICT taught this in one of his videos here to basically how to use COT data, so I'm just gonna apply it here and maybe go through some of the highlights of how do ICT uses this data here. Okay, so because we are in a consolidation, when you look at this lines here, mainly I focus on the red one because that is what the dealers are actually doing, right? So to find out what the blue one and the green one is, you just have to read through it yourself or go through ICT and find out yourself. Okay, so because we're in a neutral interest here, not interest but a neutral position here for the large institutions and banks, I don't see a dollar expanding to anywhere anytime soon. Okay, it's just going to be sideways continuation. So let's just say, like for example right here, if you were short or you're trying to short dollar, you would want to see the red line below the $0. Okay, so this midpoint here, this is the 0, and then you want to see red line below 0. So when they are below 0, it means that they are net short. Basically speaking, they are shorting. And if you're trying to get in line with the high time frame trends, like here, when you see that they are shorting, I mean, you want to take a short and you're looking for shorts, a good long-term confirmation idea would be that if they are short as well. Okay, so right here, as prices are rallying, they are building their short positions, and then from this point onwards, they are sort of like covering their short positions. As you can see, it's not that, I mean, the value it's smaller as it goes by down here, so they're all covering, and then when they are down here, it's pretty much neutral shorts. So they are shorts, but they're not moving, they're not accumulating, I mean, they are not building bigger positions, and they are not trying to cover positions as well up to this level here where they are covering. And when you see that they are covering, you see this, we got this rally down here, and then they went short again down here, right? So if you pair this up with ICT concepts, as he has mentioned before, it's very easy to capture higher time frame trends. Alright, so let's take a look at ES H. Alright, currently we are in the March contract. So for ES, right now we have this level here, and they are basically neutral but towards the long side, so they are starting to accumulate longs up here. Okay, down in this time here, during this time they're starting to accumulate. Okay, and this means that there's a possible chance that we are going to get a continuation rally into April. Okay, so as you can see right here, when they are bullish here, they're really bullish down here, right? They are accumulating long positions down here. You can see that we got this rally and then they start to cover a little bit, and then they went full on bullish again, right? And then they start to cover. Once they start to cover, right, like right around here, I would anticipate a near short-term high. Let's just say, for example, okay, this is currently reviewing it on the weekly chart. So as they are covering their longs, which means that they are selling, prices follow through as well, right? So this is one indication that I can utilize, or you can utilize, for longer time frame objectives. Alright, and it's interesting here because if you take a look at NQ, they are actually net short right now. Okay, NQ, they're net short right now, but they are covering. Okay, they're covering right here. So this is interesting because if they are covering, it's pretty much in line with ES, right? I want to see it in line with ES and in terms of direction wise. So if they are going to cover and they're going to revert it back to zero, we're going to have another bullish push into March. Okay, and if that's the case, I'm not sure how the manipulation in March is going to play out. Okay, and it's interesting here because when the price is rallying, they are actually shorting all the way, and they're only covering right down here. So that's interesting to watch as well as we head on into the next month, right? Let me just take a look at the 6 months here. Yep, so for the 6 months, pretty much short here, right? So because the market is an all-time high, it's for me quite difficult to trade because there's nothing on the left to reference with. Okay, and every time it makes a new all-time highs, then I'm in like a waiting zone. Okay, because there's nothing I can really do to gauge where the price is gonna go, right? And next one would be the last one before I start the weekly forecast, would be Bitcoin. Right, let me just adjust something here. Right. Bitcoin, we have this for Bitcoin. We can take a look at the 3 years. So Bitcoin, this is the futures. Okay, Bitcoin, interesting thing is that right here, okay, this is a 0 point. They were shorting, shorting, and they're really heavy on shorts right here, but they covered right around this level here. And then we got the shift in market structure. They're just net neutral all the way until recently, right? This spike higher, they started to open short positions. Okay, so this is interesting to see here. So because Bitcoin is approaching all-time highs, I'm not sure if it wants to do some form of retracements before attacking this high, which means it's going to form like a resistance level here to build up more short orders, right? And then it's gonna retrace to continue higher. Okay, that's what I am not sure how they're gonna do it. So I'm just going through this and analyzing it at the same time. Okay, so with this, let's move on to the weekly forecast. Now, because we have just opened up the new candle for the month of March, right? Notice that on both ES and NQ, we don't really have any down close candles that we can use, right, in the vicinity to support the price in a case of retracements. Okay, so the monthly opening price will be an important price level because I would be focusing on the power of 3, right, unless it happens to be like or similar to the month of February, whereby it did not have any down close, not down close, but it did not have any discount wicks printed. So if you take a look at the February's candle, opening price for ES it's 4874.5, but the low was 4872.5, so it's only like 2 points, and then we got this huge expansion higher. Similar to NASDAQ here, opening price it's 17273.25, and the low we had was 17262.75. That's about 10 handles. So usually if we're going to anticipate large expansions, we're going to have large manipulations, right? But so far that hasn't been the case, and it hasn't been the case for quite a while, right? If you take a look at the low of these candles here, so this indicates that we're probably in a very bullish market, and that price is in a hurry to get to some price level, okay, which I am not able to see for now, right? If I was to force an idea or a concept on it, I would be using the fibs, okay, from this swing low to this swing high, right? And then I look at 1 to 1.5, these two levels, -1 and -1.5, and obviously can go all the way up into 2 to 2.5. Okay, and this is usually levels whereby you would anticipate some form of retracements. Now, similar to NQ here, for ES, I can only utilize this as targets. So these are all targets for now, okay, and we just have to see how far it's going to trade into before offering some form of retracements. Alright, so this is what I only have to work with in terms of price levels, because I have nothing on the left to reference to. So these projection levels are going to be key levels that I'll be observing. Okay, now if I take a look at the 3 months chart, right, so far we don't really get anything, we don't really have anything but except for this manipulation lower in January, and then right now price is trading near to the highs. Right, as we approach March, I believe we're going to see some form of retracements away from the high, unless it's going to close like this previous quarter's high, which I don't think so. I'm not too sure, but I don't think so, right? So even at this higher, if you take a look at the close, 48, that's 12.75, and the high is 48.41.5, so that's about 50 handles, or maybe 30, sorry, that's about 30 handles. So if it was to close above like that, then we wouldn't have any retracements in March, right? Which is I think it's it won't be easy to trade. Okay, so what do we have here on the 3-month candle that I can utilize? That would be, if we just look forward into April, this would be a form of interest that I will be interested in. Okay, so why this fair value gap here is because this candle here took out the all-time highs, the previous all-time highs, and then it has left a fair value gap. More often than not, this fair value gap gets filled. Okay, similar to Nasdaq here, we took out the previous all-time highs with this candle here, and right now it is leaving a fair value gap. So I'm anticipating some form of a seasonal tendency whereby we get some highs form in April, right? And then we trade down lower during the month of April into May, into this fair value gap here, before continuing higher. So this is what I'm anticipating price to perform. Okay, right, so similar to here, right, this candle took out the previous all-time highs, however it did not leave any fair value gap. So the next nearest available fair value gap is right here, and as you can see, the body closing right above this level here, which is perfect, almost perfect. Okay, and then trade up away from this balanced price range. Okay, so why is this a balanced price range? Because price reacted off the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap before, and the next quarter it closes below, right? So and then moving on to the next quarter, we have price trading up all the way into this bearish order block, but did not manage to close above this old fair value gap. And then subsequent months we have resistance as we head up into this balanced price range. And once we got the close above the balanced price range, it's a signal that you're probably going to attack this high here. Okay, and from this we can see that this down close candle here, this is as ICT would have said, institutional support, right? Because down close candles are bullish order blocks. So right below the down close candle we have this fair value gap, right? This BC that is in confluence with this previous old balanced price range, right? So price in the following quarter after this candle here, the next candle here, we opened right here and we traded all the way down into this BC here before attacking the all-time highs. So what I'm thinking for this candle here, like, because I personally do not want to see a close near the high, because if that's the case, we might not be able to trade lower into this BC here. Okay, so we'll have to see how this candle close and what's the opening price of the next quarter to determine whether the next quarter would want to trade lower. Make sense here? Alright, so that's what I'll be watching for as we head into April, right? For March, I really have low expectations because we have been expanding higher from January and February above all-time highs, right? We are still expanding higher, and March here, because we have 2 expansion months within a 3-month candlestick. The last month is probably going to be consolidation if it's not going to reverse, and judging from the speed at which it attacks and it trades above this all-time high, right? The speed above this all-time high here, the previous all-time highs, I don't think that it's going to have a retracement month in the month of March. We're probably going to consolidate, and the low-hanging fruits that I would maybe anticipate is that it's going to cover this range here, this high here for NQ, and this high here for ES. Right, so just like inefficiencies, I think it can wick lower into this high here to cover up the current gap that we have. Make sense here? Alright, so that is what I'm anticipating for the month of March, right? High probability is going to be consolidation, but it would be best that if we can see some form of manipulation down here to cover up this inefficiency, that would be great, and that would be my overall trade idea of March, so to speak. Okay, and as long as we are above the opening price on the higher time frames, I wouldn't be looking to long the market. I would be looking to short the market, and probably, if possible, buy long below the opening price of the monthly candle. Make sense here? Right, so let's remove this. Right, so currently we have this range here. I'm just going to highlight it. Right, it's a gauge to see where we are at, and if possible we can hit down into the lower time frames to look for any PD arrays that are in confluence to my idea here. Right, so within this range here we have this down close candle which price can trade back into, right? This is the weekly chart. We could trade back into this down close candle here, and for ES for NQ it looks pretty much likely that we're probably going to utilize this down close candle. So I personally like the high, or okay, not the high, but the opening price of this order block here. Okay, it lines up nicely with the current inefficiency that we have. So this weekly order block. Okay, I'm gonna annotate it. Weekly order block. And for ES, I would use this range here because it's a much larger wick. It's not a beefy candle, right? It has both sides of the wicks here, so I would much anticipate to use the high, the consequent encroachment, and the opening price of this order block here. Right, I need to expand it higher, bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight this in blue. No, let's do it in green. Right, so this would be the order block. Alright, how about, no, it's fine. So right here, as we can see, it lines up nicely with, if you split this inefficiency into 4 quarters, we will have the 75% up around this area here. So that's a very good confluence for me. Okay, heading down into the lower time frames, the daily time frame. Right, what do we have? We have this small little fair value gap for NQ, and for this right here we have this swing low. Okay, so for ES I'll be looking at this swing low, I'll mark it red, and for NQ we have this inefficiency here that I think it can tag into. I'm just gonna expand it higher here. Okay, I'm gonna highlight this in purple. Well, not the text, but the color here, purple. Right, so with this we have the higher time frame narrative set in play. Okay, so this is a 3-month inefficiency. Let's not use caps. Inside, right. Same thing here. 3 months inefficiency. And then we have this weekly order block, premium week. It's a really long name here. I'm just going to put it in the center. We have a daily swing low. Right here we have daily FEG on the bottom right, weekly on the block here. I think for NQ let's just use the, even though I like the opening price, but let's just use the week here for similar comparison. Weekly order block, premium week. And this would be HINDSIGHT. Style would be green. Okay. And so with this, we have this levels annotated down. Center, sorry. Okay. So on daily time frames, we have this level here. This is the first day of the monthly candle. Right, the opening price, it's important, so I'm gonna write it down somewhere. I'm not gonna annotate it because it's going to be quite messy. Right, head down into the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so the 4 hours, we will be right around here. And if we compare it with the Dow, right, let's pull up the charts here. On the daily, okay, the Dow did not make a higher high as compared to the other two indices. Alright, so if we are going to trade below this low here for ES and below this low here for NQ, I would anticipate this swing lows to be next objective. That is if, okay, because it's not confirmed. We need a market structure shift to confirm that we are going to get a reversal, just like how we have it here. This swing low, lower low for NQ, higher low for ES, and then price broke market structure, right, and this swing high here came back down into this BC here, and for NQ it's this BC here, right into the CE of this BC, and then traded up higher into all-time highs. Alright, took quite a while, but we have this closing price, this candle closing within this BC, and then the next candle, naturally we would anticipate it to close away above this BC. This is a very good price action as compared to this right here, because we have a consolidation within this daily fair value gap, and even on to 4 hours there wasn't any SMTs to work with to indicate that there is a reversal. Right, it just keeps on tagging the lows, but you can see the tree drives lower pattern right here below Monday's low. This is Monday's low. For NQ it's similar here. We have the Monday's low right here, 1, this is Tuesday, 2 and 3, but we got one more swing low down here. So this is very problematic on the lower time frames for NQ, but higher time frames it's very clean. But ES on the other hand, we have a higher time frame, messy higher time frame, but lower time frame it's clean. Okay, so these are the levels that I'm gonna work with heading into next week. Okay, now do I anticipate lower prices? For me, because we are trading above all-time highs, I try not to call tops. So I believe we are going to trade higher first. Okay. Now right here on daily, as you can see, we have nothing in confluence. I want to see if we create a daily BC using the Monday's candle. Alright, and this candle high right here would indicate the previous week's high. So if for longs, I'm only going to aim for that. Alright, so I'm going to annotate the high here. Previous week's high. Same thing for NQ. Okay, so let's just say if we create a fair value gap on the daily time frame, I would utilize that fair value gap to look for longs on Tuesday, to look for longs into the previous week's high. and best if it can be within this 4-hour BC that we have right here. Okay, and obviously I'll have to utilize the weekly open as well. So next week we are actually, it's a non-farm payroll week. Okay, 4th of March. It's a non-farm payroll week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday could provide a really good good in terms of like price moving to a certain direction. So since it's a non-farm payroll week, I would like to change my analysis here, right? Because since it's a non-farm payroll week, I'm anticipating Monday to take out the previous week's high. Okay, it's gonna build sentiment, so we keep on going higher, utilizing this 4-hour BC here, right? On Monday it's gonna come down into this BC, and then we're gonna trade higher. That is what I'm anticipating. All right, we trade higher, and then Tuesday we trade above Monday's high, and then we sell off, and then we start to sell off. Okay, and Wednesday would be continuation of that sell off. Thursday, minor consolidation, heading into non-farm payrolls, right? And then Friday it reverses back to take out all the buy stops, right, for those that are selling down since Tuesday. That is what I'm anticipating here. All right, I'm just going to reevaluate this again when we have the weekly opening price in my Telegram group. So this is just a framework, right? Because we're all-time highs, do not expect a lot from this weekly forecast. Right, it's just a draft, right? Because there's nothing on the left to reference with, right? And with this, I'm gonna end the session here. It's been quite a while, right? Let me take a look at Bitcoin, because I'm doing the challenge, the trading view challenge. Right now, one of the assets that they allow us to trade is Bitcoin. So I'm just gonna take a look here and see if there's anything I can utilize here. Right, so I think this BTC would be the next draw on liquidity before higher prices. That is what I think. So this is like a bull flag. Okay. Normally I do not trust bull flags, so I would anticipate price to retrace next week for Bitcoin, and maybe eventually it will attack this high here, but I think we trade down first. Okay, right, so if it trades higher first before tagging this BC, that would be even better. Then I'll be looking for shorts down into this daily fair value gap. Right, so far I'm expecting, to be honest, I'm expecting more consolidation, because this is the second candle that has closed within this daily candle here. Okay, and for me personally, this candle has to expand away from these two candles to signify that price is going to continue to move to a certain direction or to reverse. Right, any movement away from consolidation, right? But if it closes within this candle here, then I would anticipate longer consolidations, right? Because after all, we do have this large expansion, so consolidation is pretty much expected for Bitcoin. We have this BC here. This BC, we have this balanced price range here, or should I say inversion here. This could be utilized as support for the price to go higher. Okay, higher, meaning attacking the all-time highs. Okay, because price is in a hurry, as you can see, and it's not respecting bearish PD rays, so I'm anticipating the all-time highs to be attacked, but I would much prefer it to retrace into this level here, and that would offer a very nice long opportunity to attack the all-time highs. Makes sense for Bitcoin. That's going to be the case here for me. So the high of this BPR would be 53k. I think we're gonna trade down into here for Bitcoin. Okay, for Bitcoin, trade down into here and then higher prices. Right, any price closure on the monthly time frame, which means the month of March, if it closes below here, or April, right, if it closes below here, 47,981.62, then I will be bearish on Bitcoin. But as long as it stays above this level here, 47,981.62, I will continue to stay bullish for Bitcoin until all-time highs are tagged. And how far can this go? Right, using the projections, I think -5 standard deviation would be the low-hanging fruit above all-time highs. Right, this level here. Okay, and if I was really to push it, alright, not pushing it, but maybe 2.5 here, just one tick above all-time highs, and then price just reverse because we have lots of inefficiency here. Alright, so low-hanging fruit is this draw on liquidity here. I'm not gonna call any prices above. Okay, and for now, right, and that's it for this video here. Right, I hope you enjoyed it. Right, and yep, have a great weekend. Good luck trading next week. It's non-farm payrolls. Right, and I'll see you again.